Green against Macclesfield. Forest Green, ninth in the conference, kept with the side that started the first match. Macclesfield's goalkeeper is Steve Wilson, and our commentator is another Steve Wilson, Macclesfield in the all blue.
This is Adams from Macclesfield. Chris Byrne. Chris Priest with the shot. And it wasn't a million miles away. Certainly had Perrin scampering to his left. They average about 800 in conference football. More than 1,000 here tonight at the Lawn, home of Forest Green. Lambert just beaten in the air. This is Byrne. Priest forward, and not a good tackle by Cooper. The referee on the scene immediately, and Chris Priest was caught undeniably by Mark Cooper, who knows it. This is Alex Meachin. And free kick Forest Green's way. Foul by Tinson. Mark Cooper will take the Forest Green free kick. And what kind of sight will Macclesfield's keeper and that wall have of the ball, with two Forest Green players standing right in front of it? It's Cooper! Good goal! Mark Cooper, captain of Forest Green Rovers, hammers them in front, and a step closer to the second round of the FA Cup. It was a tremendous strike. Wilson got a hand to it, but in all honesty had very little chance of diverting it round the post, and Cooper's right foot has put Forest Green in front. Came off Riddler. Travis with the throw, and that'll be a corner off Chris Priest. Macclesfield are rocking. Martin Foster to take the Forest Green corner. Off the bar! And Odejayi can't turn it in. So close to a second goal for Forest Green. I think it came off Riddler's head last. Well, the game had just got to a stage where you felt it was beginning to need a goal, and Mark Cooper has provided it. Here's half a chance. That's a nice lob, and a terrific equalising goal from Kevin Keane. Macclesfield really needed that. Kevin Keane making the most of the mistake from Howie. Perrin was too far off his line. And Macclesfield are back in this cup tie. Here's Chris Priest from Macclesfield. McAvoy nicely to Byrne. Langham is forward. Tracy on the left. Langham in the middle now, joined by Byrne and McAvoy. Opportunities here. And it was an opportunity. Possibly Macclesfield's best move of the game. It's Heggs. Langham. Looking for Meachin. Cut out by Tinson. It's back into the path of Alex Meachin. And good recovery by Riddler. Not for the first time tonight. Foster with a corner, and the header is in, but it won't count. The header won't count from Heggs. was backing in. And delight turns almost instantly to disappointment. That's the manager of Macclesfield, David Moss. 2 off the bottom of the 3rd division. Would love to have an FA Cup run. The rain won't worry them if Forest Green win. Here's a mistake. This is Meachin. Good save by Wilson. The goalkeeper did really well. Meachin must be wondering whether he's ever going to take one of these chances. He's had 3 or 4 now. This is Cousins, could strike! Oh, the goalkeeper needed 2 bites at it. But Wilson managed to keep it in his sights and looks for Lambert, and here's Perrin. Get the feeling it's a night which is getting a little more difficult for the goalkeepers as the rain falls and the pitch gets a little wetter. Shuttleworth back to Adams, towards Glover, Impey's header, Shuttleworth forward. Good football by Macclesfield, Glover waiting! And very close to scoring what might well have been a winning goal for Macclesfield. Good football on the left side, good cross in by Lambert, and Glover was only a few inches away from getting the touch. Heggs gets the rebound off Riddler. Meachin in the middle. Can Heggs pick him out? He goes alone, and Wilson makes the save. Heggs decided to go alone, and to be fair, he forced the goalkeeper into a good save. Foster for Meachin. Heggs, no foul given against Tinson. Good try by Heggs. Problem for Wilson. Meachin, and the goalkeeper makes another good save for Macclesfield. It's a very difficult shot to deal with. Foster's corner, heels for handball, penalty given. The referee in absolutely no doubt whatsoever. Well, chest or arm, Dave Riddler, who has had an outstanding game for Macclesfield, has conceded a penalty. Mark Cooper, who scored Forest Green's opening goal with a right-footed thunderbolt of a free kick, has his shot saved by Wilson. Went for power rather than position, and Wilson stood up and saved it. Well, here's the Macclesfield hero of the hour, Steve Wilson. Might share the same name as your commentator, but I can assure you he is very much a better goalkeeper. We're in the 121st minute. Foster's corner kick for Forest Green. Oh, and off the line from Wilson's punch. Headed off the line by Keane. It will be a penalty shootout.
Keane kept his side in the cup with a header in literally the last second of the game. The one miss early on, it's 5-5 and sudden death.
Foster against Wilson, just. And he knows it. Wilson was close. Darren Tinson has to score. The captain of Macclesfield. Tinson does score, 6 each. 6 penalties scored by each side, 7 penalties taken by each side. The men who are stepping forward now are not penalty takers. They have not chosen to be in this position. And I doubt that they are enjoying it any more than those supporters. Lee Howie. Howie sends Wilson the wrong way. And again, the conference side have the advantage. Very cool penalty by Howie. And now a big smile. And it all falls to Danny Adams. It's 7-6 to Forest Green. It's Danny Adams from Macclesfield. Can he keep them in it? Yes, he can. 7 each. Seen some good penalties. Steve Jenkins now, the left back for Forest Green. 8 penalties taken by each side. It's 7-all. It's Jenkins who scores. And the shootout goes on, and the tension grows. His nerve held. Wilson, had he stood up, might have saved it. Penalty number 9 for Macclesfield. Riddler to take it. He conceded the penalty in extra time. He scores in the shootout. And it's 8 penalties each. Rob Cousins will take this penalty for Forest Green. It is their 10th. He is the last outfield player for Forest Green not to have taken a penalty. He faces Wilson and he scores! And Forest Green lead by 9 kicks to 8. And the shootout is becoming almost as long as the match. Now Chris Priest for Macclesfield, facing the goalkeeper Steve Perrin. Priest must score. Priest does score. It's 9 each. And we're down to the goalkeepers. It's Steve Perrin, Forest Green goalkeeper, Wiltshire Cricket Club wicket-keeper, to take the Forest Green penalty, and he scores! And Forest Green lead 10-9. And now Steve Wilson, the Macclesfield goalkeeper, faces Steve Perrin, the Forest Green goalkeeper. It's been an eventful night for Wilson. And he scores! It's 10-all. Eleven penalties for each side. Only 2 players have missed. It's Forest Green 10, Macclesfield 10. And we go back to square one and we start again. Only this time it's sudden death, as the figure of Kevin Langan comes forward. Langan scored with the first penalty kick of this shootout. Now faces Wilson again and puts it over the bar. And for the first time, Macclesfield will have a spot kick to win this cup tie. Langan over the crossbar. Wilson didn't have to save it. Perrin has to save this. Lee Glover, FA Cup finalist in 1991 with Nottingham Forest, to put Macclesfield in the second round. He does! Macclesfield will play Swansea in round 2. Forest Green are beaten in an extraordinary penalty shootout by 11 kicks to 10. Lee Glover sends Macclesfield into the second round of the Cup. Forest Green are beaten.
I mean, there are 27 penalties in this tie, because they had 3 penalties over the first game at Moss Rose and 1 tonight, and then 24 in a shootout, which is just extraordinary.
Well, it's unbelievable. You know, you wouldn't have thought that was going to happen. We practiced penalties this week, so it's paid off.
Well, I mean, if you take the whole 2 ties overall, we've outplayed them for 2 games, and you know, absolutely delighted with my boys' their effort there today. Should have won in ordinary time today.
That's what the FA Cup is all about, isn't it? I'm sure Nigel Spink is absolutely distraught in there, because over the 120 minutes, I hardly think we created much. We did battle and scrap. We had to. I knew it wouldn't be pretty down here, but we've come through, and you know, all credit to my players in the end.
Well, first of all, let's just get something straight. Those 24 penalties in the shootout, FA Cup history. The previous record, 22 kicks in a shootout, in which Marlow beat Littlehampton in a first qualifying round replay in September 1997. You can't beat it for excitement. I thought they were going to go round and round and round and round again.
You'd be speaking to Albert, by the way. That's the only reason you know. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I mean, David Moss, an old friend of mine, very, very honest. You could not choose which was the league team and which was the non-league team. There's no doubt about that. And unfortunate for Forest Green, played very well at Macclesfield, probably played even better tonight. They had a goal disallowed, which, to be honest, we had a couple of looks at that and I couldn't see much in that. But then, of course, they got the penalty, which maybe wasn't a penalty, and they missed the penalty. So Macclesfield rode the luck. They'd come through the tie. Wasn't pretty, but, you know, the penalties obviously made it something special at the end.
And Kevin Keane, an influential performance, and we know him from old. He's been around football for a while. Well,
Lee Glover also, of course, scored the winning goal, but Kevin Keane, very instrumental in the fact that Macclesfield came through. Just a long ball played over the top. It's an awful goal for Forest Green to concede, but it's superbly taken by Kevin Keane. I seem to recall him scoring a wonder goal for West Ham at one stage like that. But rides his luck over the defender, top draw finish, and I think it was just in those instances where it makes all the difference. This Ray, is the very, very last, I was going to say kick of the game, but obviously it's the head of the game. Because the goalkeeper for Macclesfield completely misses it, completely makes a hash of it here. Kevin Keane on the line. That took them obviously onto the shootout, and eventually scored in the penalty shootout as well. And Macclesfield are through. I think a home tie against Swansea. So I'm glad for David Moss.
Great cup tie. And on the back of that little piece of FA Cup history, what could Newport and Blackpool come up with in their replay? The Blackpool player attracting the